For the next part of the presentation, we would like you to please refer to Exhibit 3. So the balanced scorecard should be implemented at high-level corporate organizations and specific business units, but there are different situations where one is more beneficial than the other. The balanced scorecard should be implemented at a high level when vision statement of the organization isn't clear, or when all divisions should be following the same construct. However, it can be implemented at the business unit level when each business unit has different goals and objectives. For example, if one business unit is really geared towards customer interaction while another does not make that a main focus, then different balanced scorecards could be beneficial. Advantages of the balanced scorecard at the corporate level include business unit strategies are aligned, and managers across all divisions have a clear and concise concept of the roadmap towards achieving the targets of the balanced scorecard. However, some disadvantages at the corporate level of balanced scorecard include business units are different, so the goals, as I mentioned before, the goals and objectives across each business unit could be different and may be hard to align all of them to one balanced scorecard. So a balanced scorecard that is too broad and not specific towards business units could be very hard to implement and measure. And it also brings up the issue of the business unit versus the parent organization, which you'll describe in more detail in Case D. The New England Sales and Distribution Unit took a Super Bowl approach to measuring the balanced scorecard. Some positives of this approach include demonstrate how different aspects of the company with different functions were working together in order to bring about each target of the balanced scorecard. Gives clear goals to all employees, and explains even how the lower line workers can align their performance to meet the targets of the balanced scorecard. So it makes everyone in the organization working towards one cohesive, or four cohesive components of the balanced scorecard. In addition, the reward system provided incentive, but workers did not have job insecurity if the goals were not met. The negatives of the Super Bowl approach one was that it couldn't be applied to the union workers. So having a Super Bowl approach with all the employees besides the union workers, or having two Super Bowl approaches could get confusing within the organization. In addition, it implies that workers are competing against each other rather than what the actual goal is to work together to bring about certain goals. Rather, it applies a Super Bowl with teams working against each other. And also it set strict numbers and stretch goals, and these were hard to, these numbers were just projections, and they were hard to meet exactly, so had to stick on company morale, and the numbers were not met exactly. An approach that we suggest is a percentage improvement strategy. This strategy sets a minimum of improvement goals, therefore providing a large leeway in where employees can work towards improving. And if these minimum targets aren't met, then managers can assess procedures, employees, and processes in order to make sure that every quarter that minimum targets are met for the balanced scorecard. In addition, staff departments like gasoline marketing, we believe that they should not have their own balanced scorecard, and there are advantages. Although there are advantages, we found there are more disadvantages. Some advantages were that compensation of all employees were tied to the targets of the balanced scorecard, and also it provided more focus on non-financial metrics like client satisfaction. Without this balanced scorecard, employees tended to just focus on the very obvious measurable data that was mostly financial. However, the disadvantages were that data wasn't available for the three other components of the balanced scorecard. So finding this data was, going to be hard, and it would make it less, just because it was so much projection and research would make it not as accurate. And then also the main focus of, this ServCo was fulfilling the service agreement. And one general manager suggested that this should be the main goal of the gasoline marketing staff department, rather than 4 different targets of the balanced scorecard. And we found that this approach actually worked better, and there were more disadvantages to having a specific balanced scorecard for the gasoline marketing staff department than there were for advantages. And we believe that the gasoline market staff department should focus on the goal of fulfilling their service agreements and aligning their business unit with the overall goals of the balanced scorecard.